In the 20th century civil rights movement inquiry, students investigate the iconic figures and events of the civil rights movement, learning that all community members can work towards equality and justice. Then, they reflect on the ways people of all ages can pursue change. Before we dig in, remember that an inquiry begins with a launch module, just 2 lessons, moves through a series of investigation modules with about 3 to 5 lessons in each one, and ends in an action module where students use their learning to create and share an inquiry product. The 20th century civil rights movement inquiry launches with the hook lesson, Citizens Work for Equality. In this lesson, students examine historical images and read A Sweet Smell of Roses to explore how citizens work together for change. At the end of the lesson, students are introduced to the inquiry question that will guide their exploration. How can we take steps towards equality and justice? In the next lesson of the launch, students use the question formulation technique to create their own questions to explore. These questions get recorded on an anchor chart so they can be revisited and revised throughout an inquiry. Remember, at the beginning, students might not have many questions yet since they are just getting started with their exploration. During the first few lessons, the class will also start its vocab wall and begin an inquiry-long display, the Path to Equality and Justice inquiry wall, which will grow throughout the inquiry as students explore how people can work for equality and justice. After the launch module, students move through a series of investigation modules, each organized around an essential need-to-know question. Who or what promotes equality? How have people in the past taken steps toward equality and justice? Who plays a role in bringing about change? How are young people today taking steps toward equality and justice? Let's look at a few highlights from each module. In Module 2, students examine historical images and informational texts to explore the roles of governments and citizens in upholding fairness and protecting rights. They investigate diversity, equality, and the segregation laws that launched the civil rights movement, then reflect on their learning through a concept connections activity. In Module 3, students work in groups to investigate key events of the 20th century civil rights movement, including the first student-led sit-in in Oklahoma City. They use the Changemakers Footsteps handout to identify inspiring steps toward equality and add to the inquiry wall, then share connections in a mingle pair share. In Module 4, students investigate primary and secondary sources to gather evidence about the March on Washington. They support a claim about the role of everyday citizens, filling in footsteps with supportive evidence and reasoning. Then, they reflect and share their learning through a conversations protocol. In Module 5, students analyze sources to learn how young people advocate for equality and justice. They reflect on their learning in a concentric circles activity and imagine the next steps they can take toward achieving equality. Finally, they create an inquiry challenge statement that describes a challenge or opportunity they want to address when they take action and construct their inquiry product. After Module 5, it's time for students to take action and choose an inquiry product that will impact the community beyond the classroom. There are several options to choose from and suggestions of possible products. For example, students could inspire their community through a large-scale mural that demonstrates how people can work together to promote equality and justice in businesses, schools, and community centers. Or they could create graphic novels to celebrate the work and courage of people who have taken steps toward equality and justice over time, sharing their finished products in the library. And you can always check out the Inquiry Work Gallery for more inspiration. These examples come from Inquire Ed's partners across the country and around the world. Whatever product they create, Module 6, the Action Module, will guide students through the design process step by step. And that's a quick overview of the 20th century civil rights movement inquiry. Don't forget to submit samples of student work and photos of your students in action to the Inquiry Work Gallery. Good luck on your inquiry journey.